Today our topic is solving quadratic equations. So our essential question, how can I solve a quadratic equation? Vocabulary, linear. A linear function is something that produces a straight line. And it looks like y equals mx plus b. A quadratic equation does not produce a straight line. It makes a nice U shape. If we were to graph a quadratic equation, and it's going to be basic function is y equals x squared. And this 2 right here, that exponent, that square, is what makes it a quadratic. Radicals. There are many different types of radicals, but the one we focus on is square root. Square roots. So like the square root of 64 is 8. Perfect squares are the squares of integers. A number that is the square of an integer. So I actually have that written down right here as well. And then I have some examples. So 4 squared is 16. So 16 is a perfect square. 6 squared is 36. 36 is a perfect square. 9 squared is 81. 81 is a perfect square. Now, we have a space for us to list out the perfect squares because these are going to be helpful for us in this lesson. So we're actually doing the square roots of perfect squares. So 1, the square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 16 is 4. And this is because 1 times 1 equals 1. 2 times 2 equals 4. 3 times 3 equals 9. 4 times 4 equals 16. So we're squaring these numbers. That's 1 squared. This is 2 squared. This is 3 squared. This is 4 squared. So they're opposites of each other. The square root of 25 is 5 because 5 squared equals 25. 36, the square root is 6. The square root of 49 is 7. The square root of 64 is 8. We can keep going. The square root of 81 is 9. The square root of 100 is 10. The square root of 121 is 11. And the square root of 144 is 12. So those are the first 12 integers and then the square roots of their perfect squares. Solving simple quadratic equations. So we're going to use the relationship that the opposite of x squared is the square root of x. They have an opposite relation. Just like addition and subtraction are opposites and multiplication and division are opposites, squaring and square roots are opposites. So x squared equals 25. We want to know what number, if we put it in for x, would give us 25. So instead of undoing subtraction with addition, we're going to undo the square by doing the square root on both sides. The square root of x squared is just x. Okay, so it takes away that little 2 at the top, so the square root of x squared is x equals the square root of 25 is 5. However, we have another case. If we think about it, there is another answer. One answer is positive 5. However, if we think about, if we put 5 in for x, 5 squared equals 25, there's also another case, and that's the negative case. Negative 5 squared also equals positive 25 because this is negative 5 times negative 5. Negative times a negative gives us a positive, and 5 times 5 equals 25. So we actually have two answers. X equals positive 5 and x equals negative 5. So in this lesson, all of our questions are going to have two answers. All right? X squared equals 20. Again, to undo that x squared, we have to take the square root of both sides. Square root of x squared is x equals the square root of 20. Now, is the square root of 20 a perfect square? If we look at our sheet of paper, perfect squares, we have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, but I'm not seeing 20 anywhere. This is because the square root of 20 is not a perfect square, so it's going to have to be a decimal approximation. And for this, we are going to want to use our calculator. All right, so here I have our scientific graphing calculator. The square root of 20. So to get the square root of 20, we have to press the blue button and then this x squared button right here. Because if you look up in the top corner, there's that radical button in blue. That's why we press the blue button first, and then we press x squared. We get the square root. We put in 20, and we get 4.47. So we'll just cut it off at 2 decimals, 4.47. We'll take that, and we'll say x equals 4.47, and we have to have the negative version as well. Solving quadratic equations continued. Now, if we look, we have x squared minus 49. We want to get the x squared all by itself. So we're going to undo this minus 49 with plus 49. X squared is left over here equals 49. Undo x squared with a square root. Square root of x squared is x, square root of 49, positive 7, and negative 7. So next example, we have x squared plus 8 equals 80. We want to get x squared by itself. Undo plus 8 with minus 8. So we get x squared equals 80 minus 8 is 72. Undo x squared with the square root on both sides. So we have x equals square root of 72. Is that a perfect square? If we look at our chart, do we see 72 anywhere? I see 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, but no 72. So x equals the square root of 72. We want to do another decimal approximation. Again, we'll need to use our calculator for this. We again hit the blue button, then the x squared button to get the square root. 72, enter. 8.48. We take those first couple digits and we say x equals 8.48 and the negative answer as well. So again, if you look, it's the same number, just we have the positive answer and the negative answer. Word problem. The area of a square carpet is 144 square miles. What is the length of a side of the carpet? So let's first draw a picture. We have a square carpet. Properties of a square is that each side is the same length. We have S, 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 and S. To find the area of a square, we multiply one side by another side. So we would do side times side equals the area. Well, another way to represent side times side is actually side squared. Equals area, which we know is 144. Solve this equation for S. We square root both sides. Square root of S squared is just S. Equals the square root of 144 is 12 and negative 12. Now, we have to be careful because does our answer make sense? Are both 12 and negative 12 answers for this problem? If we look an area of a carpet could have a side length of 12, But could it have a side length of -12? Would that make sense? No, because a length is always positive, never negative. So we would want to say nope to the -12, and we would just have one answer this time, and it would be s equals 12. And if we really wanted to be specific, we would use our dimension. It would be 12 miles. All right, that's all the notes I have for you. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel.